So today I want to talk to you a little bit about asking good questions for historical research. Um, this video is basically my response to what I saw in all of your thoughtful questions from your first worksheet assignment. In fact, so many really good questions came out of this, but there are some that I think I tried to respond to in my feedback, but I think that it was worthwhile making this video so that you can I could explain it a little bit better what my feedback might be referring to. When you're asking an historical question, you need to keep a couple of things in mind. One, you want to make sure that the question is answerable in the time frame that you have. For us, we've got less than 2 months. You've got resources that are pretty darn good, but you don't have every resource in the world at your fingertips. And so asking questions that are so broad that it might take books to answer probably isn't the way to go. Questions like, who is Mao Zedong? That's a really broad question, right? That asks every aspect of who he is and what he's about. Or even questions that are a little narrower, but might still be a little bit too broad. What impact did Mao have on China? Well, he had so many impacts in so many different ways: political, economic, social. Finding ways to zero in on one aspect of this really makes it a more manageable question. There are other types of questions on the other end of the spectrum that I saw in some of your assignments that I also wanted to address. Some ask questions that are what I would call Google questions. Things like, how long did it take to write the Constitution? Well, if you type that into Google, it's going to spit out an answer, exactly how many years, how many months, whatever. And so that's not real research, right? You want to be able to not only have a question that forces you to go in, find good evidence from the sources, but also forces you then to explain that evidence to your reader, your analysis. You're going to hear me use the word analysis over and over and over again. Rarely do you just find something in a book or in an article that just answers the question for you. If you find that, then that might not be a great research question. What you might find, though, is some evidence. You might find a comment about Mao on the Cultural Revolution and how it may have led to some detrimental things like the Great Famine. Then you, as the author, need to explain to me and whoever else as the reader how that's indicative of Mao's poor leadership or great leadership or whatever the major point you're trying to make is. So when thinking about questions, think about questions that will require serious historical research, where you have to go into the library or into Shapiro, SNHU, or into these articles to find and pull out relevant information, but also questions that require you to enlighten us about what these answers mean and why they're important. So as you go back to your questions, which we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, think about it. Does my question need a little more focus, need a little more precision? Instead of asking about all of Mao's influence, should I be looking mostly at the economics or mostly at the social, or what maybe looking at just one of his policies? Look at the Cultural Revolution, or look at any of these one singular things and pushing on that. Or on the other end, is my question so narrow that it doesn't really give me room to explore and research? And then come back, write a new question. Try it again and again and again. And that's how history is done. Rarely does an historian simply ask the first question that pops to mind and it's perfect. It's exactly what we need to know. It takes patience. It takes practice. The next step we will do, which will probably be my next video, is how to take that question and your information and your research and fashion a good old-fashioned thesis statement about it. But we will talk about that next time. Thanks. I hope this helps.